Hey guys, welcome back to Historic Auto Attractions in Roscoe, Illinois. Today I'm going to show you my favorite part of this museum, and this is Gangsterland. Now later on this summer I plan to give you a full tour of this museum, but today we are in Gangsterland. Now this is pretty cool. I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this. I'll give you a little bit more in depth of a feel for this. Now the first thing I want to show you, this is the pistol that was used to kill John Dillinger. Now this was owned by Martin Zarkovich. He was a Chicago police officer, and this is the gun that the fatal bullet was fired from. They have a few more things from Martin here. And his badge. Pretty cool. Now, just over here, now for those of you that don't know the story of how Dillinger was killed, he was killed at the Biograph Theater, and in 1934 he was watching a movie called The Manhattan Melodrama starring Clark Gable. This is the suit that Clark Gable wore in that film. Now there's a lot of other Dillinger artifacts in here. There are guns that belong to Dillinger and Dillinger's father. Hopefully this music in the background isn't too loud for you guys. But here's a pistol that Dillinger left during the escape at Little Bohemia in 1934. And a silencer. Dillinger's pistol. Now the cool thing about this is that there are a lot of artifacts here, and there is a residential historian named Tony that knows the details and the history of everything in this museum, how it came to be here, the provenance of who owned things first. This is kind of cool. It's kind of an old-timey bar with a moose here. And then over here we have a 1929 Lincoln Model L that was used by the gangster Legs Diamond. Pretty neat thing to see. Now everything in this particular area was either gangster used, gangster related, or used in films related to gangsters. This is a 1925 Studebaker Model EQ Special, and this was used by the Galena, Illinois Police Department. Well, there's another exhibit there. Now this is a 1932 bulletproof Cadillac Chicagoland gangster era car, and there's portholes, as you can see this, where they used to stick the Tommy guns out to shoot at people in drive-bys. I can't imagine that there's too many things like this that still exist. But you can see there's bullet holes. Well, they didn't penetrate this because this is pretty thick glass, but you can see that this car has been shot. But each one has a porthole for a Tommy gun. I'll put this in here so you can kind of see. The driver's side is the only one that doesn't. There's also one up here in the front. But that's kind of cool. Now this is an Al Capone. This is a truck that was owned by Al Capone's distribution company. I was told that there's very few of these that exist, maybe only 2 or 3, and this is the only one I believe in this good a shape. But kind of random and pretty cool. The barrels, I'm not sure if they're original, but the truck is. And it's in amazing condition. These are the hotel vault doors from the Lexington Hotel in Chicago, which is where Al Capone had his office. So I'm sure many times Al Capone actually touched this handle right here. And this is one of the movie cars from the Bonnie and Clyde movie, the 1967 movie starring Warren Beatty and Annette Bening. This is the George Barris car. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that probably don't listen to this and say that's not the car that they were actually ambushed in. This is the movie car. And I'm not sure if there's more than one movie car or if this was it, but this is definitely one of them, if not the only one. And then just over here, we have Bonnie and Clyde things. Now, I'm going to show you something in here that just blows my mind. Now, these are a couple new things here, and every time I come in here, there's something new. But these are some things that were owned by Lizzie Borden. Lizzie Borden's ice pick. How cool is that? And here's a Tommy gun. And a Barrow Gang flashlight from the Dexter shootout. Now for one of the coolest things here, I'm going to start down here. This is a Smith & Wesson revolver that was taken directly from the Bonnie and Clyde death car. Now there's an entire story for how these came to be in this museum. They all went up for public auction years ago, and I will post a video of the resident historian Tony explaining this. But these are the Bonnie and Clyde death hats. These are the actual hats Bonnie and Clyde were wearing when they were shot and killed. Let me zoom in on this. These are some of the bullet holes, and there's some blood on the back of this hat. You kind of go around here a little bit so you can see. But talk about living history. And then here's Bonnie's hat. You can see a bullet hole right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. There's another bullet hole right back here. And then I think there's some back here too, but I can't really see them. But these are the Bonnie and Clyde death hats. Now how cool is that? You would expect something like this to be in the Smithsonian, but no, it's here. Here's one of John Dillinger's shirts. And one of his handkerchiefs. And this is cool right here. This is John Dillinger's, or was John Dillinger's, 1932 Studebaker Commander. This was a car that he used as a bank robbery getaway car. And this was also used and driven by Johnny Depp in Public Enemies, where he portrayed Johnny Depp. They borrowed this car for that film. But in 1933, Johnny Depp, obviously it wasn't Johnny Depp, but in 1933, John Dillinger used this car originally in a bank robbery, and they net $75,346, and they took off right in this car here. But to be able to see history, to look at it, and to be able to breathe and feel it, it's pretty spectacular. And this is just one exhibit in here. Here's Benny Binion's pistol. If you don't know who Benny Binion is, he is the kind of the creator of the World Series of Poker, and he owned Binion's Horseshoe in Vegas. But this was his 1917 Smith & Wesson revolver. And then we'll walk over here and I'll show you this quick. This is John Dillinger's bulletproof vest. Now everything in here has, all kinds of provenance. It has the chain of who owned it before. A lot of the stuff came directly from the families. Pretty much everything in here you can figure out or find out how they got it. And I showed you guys a little bit of this the other day, but this is their serial killer artifacts display. This is brand new this year. But here is a Davy Berkowitz, if you guys didn't get a chance to see this last time. It's just a couple of autographs and different things of different serial killers. Now, I'm not showing this to promote or encourage any of this kind of stuff. I definitely think that the behavior of these guys is pretty despicable, but it is history, and it's still kind of fascinating. Here's some Jim Jones items. Patty Hearst poster. Robert Stroud, a letter from his attorney seeking his release. Alcatraz, the Handbook of Rules and Regulations. A San Quentin ball and chain. A prisoner neck collar. And then up here we have Bruno Hauptmann's coffee cup from 1935. He was the one that was arrested for the kidnapping and murder of Charles Lindbergh's son. John Wayne Gacy's signature, and an original signed drawing. As you can see, Gacy's signature on the bottom, 1981. And then I'll show you on the other side. There's a few more things. But I will show you guys a few things from this museum. I mean, this place is absolutely amazing, and I highly encourage any of you, if you're ever in the northern Illinois area, to please check this place out, because it is a hidden gem, and not a whole lot of people know that this place is here. And you know, I love this place so much. Whenever I'm in town here, I always stop by. The people here are wonderful. Be sure to talk to Tony on the weekends if you get a chance to see him. But this is Otis Toole, who worked with Henry Lee Lucas, if you can call that working with him. Just a real creepy guy. And I believe he was charged with the murder of Adam Walsh, the son of John Walsh from America's Most Wanted. James Earl Ray was the guy that shot Martin Luther King. Then we have Albert DeSalvo, a Joliet prison badge and key, some brass knuckles, because everybody needs some of those, Alcatraz prison guard badge, and then up here are some of the more interesting things. Jeffrey Dahmer. Obviously, I've done a couple videos on Jeffrey Dahmer. People seem to have interest, so here they are. This is one of his fingerprints and a handwritten card. And here's a hall pass from his prison from 1994. It's handwritten by Jeffrey Dahmer. But pretty cool stuff. Now, I will post more videos from here, and I will be visiting here periodically throughout the summer, and I will give you guys some interviews with people, but that's not going to be all you're going to see this summer. There's going to be a lot of graveyard tours. There's going to be a lot of interesting things, a lot of great locations, some true crime, some Hollywood. I will be heading back to LA soon to shoot some more videos, some new cemeteries that I haven't been, and I definitely haven't brought you guys to yet. But stay tuned, and there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming up. But for today, thanks so much for watching, and have a great weekend, everybody.